Ladies and gentlemen, so over the last few months in Marvel Contest of Champions, 5-star shards and also T2 Alpha have become significantly more common, and one of the questions that I just get ramped up on a daily basis is all about the 5-star champions that are worth taking up to rank 4. So I wanted to do an entire video about it and kind of release this separate tier list on my suggested 5-star champions to take up to rank 4, to give people kind of a rough idea, in my opinion, what champions are really valuable to have at rank 4. But I think before we kind of get into the tier list and talk about, the various options, I wanted to really highlight some of my thought process in regards to, which champions should you bring up to rank 4. And the basic question that I asked myself is, where is rank 4 either necessary or necessary to be competitive? And those two modes of gameplay at the moment really are, you've got Labyrinth of Legends. You need rank 4 5-star champions if you want to extend the enrage timer and have like a decent run at some of the bosses. And the more important one for a lot of people at the moment is Alliance War. Alliance War is absolutely huge after the new update, and the rewards got significantly buffed up, and I know a lot of people are looking to make kind of fairly good decisions that will allow them to be competitive in Alliance War. So that's kind of the two main things that I've got in mind when it's come to this spreadsheet. To a certain extent, prestige can also be a factor with some of the rankings. That is the case, especially with Thor Ragnarok. But one of the things that I just want to keep in mind is that this tier list is mainly ranked around kind of Labyrinth of Legends and Alliance War, because like Alliance Quest Act 5 and pretty much everything else in the game, you don't need 5-star champions at rank 4, like 5-star rank 3s or 4-star champions at rank 5 level 50. If you are a good player, like that power level will completely suffice. So that's my kind of first big piece of advice, is when thinking about which champions you want to take up to rank 4 as a 5-star, think about, what's going to get you through either Labyrinth of Legends for one of your first runs, or if you really want to make a big investment, something that's going to take you through to 100%, or something that is going to allow you to consistently clear your path and be a very valuable asset to your team when it comes to Alliance War. So yeah, those are the kind of two things to work off here, but with that in mind, we have kind of 4 separate rankings here. So we have the top dons. These are the god tier champions, the ones that are just so incredibly useful throughout so many aspects of the game. Then we have the awesome options. So these are maybe not quite the top dons, but they'll get the job done in various aspects of the game. Pretty good options, a bit of a step down from the awesome options, but still, they'll suffice, and they can have uses in various matchups and be useful champions to have up there sometimes. And then you've got the T2 Alpha expiring, which seems to be a problem for quite a few people. Especially with the logging calendars and Act 5 being released. So I just wanted to have a column being like, I probably wouldn't rank these champions up, but if I had Tier 2 Alpha expiring, then yeah, maybe I'd go for it. So anyway, let's start off with talking about some of the top dons here. So we have Archangel. If it bleeds, if you can poison it, he's just absolutely amazing. But in Alliance War, he's very good for fighting magics, Modoks, anything where he can reduce the ability accuracy. He's a very good asset there. In Labyrinth of Legends, he's a bit of a hit and miss character, and very different from running somebody like Star-Lord in Labyrinth, because he's going to have some really bad matchups against people like Colossus, which, Star-Lord and Stark and Spider-Man have a great time against. They have the easiest time, but then the matchups that suck for most characters like Magic and Ant-Man, Archangel is the most fantastic option out there, and especially if you're looking to push for 100% Labyrinth of Legends. He's really good for like X-23, really good for the classic Spider-Man. So there are quite a few odd fights all over the place in Labyrinth of Legends where a rank 4 Archangel is just absolutely astronomical and can save you like huge piles of units. So yeah, Archangel, he is a beast, very good there. Then we have Iceman as a potential war option, like Iceman as well, very valuable in general for Alliance Quest, but any kind of immunities paths in Alliance War, he's very good for fighting against. Evade champions, he's a great counter to those. And yeah, can eat special freeze with his ice armor if you're against Mephistos as well in awesome War. So there are quite a few uses for Iceman in War there. And then we have Dr. Voodoo, who up until I had Blade, I played so much Dr. Voodoo in Alliance War. I love this character. He's great for magics, great for potentially Dormammu's as well, with his ability to regenerate at the start of the fight and also control power, reduce ability accuracy. You know, you can pretty much spin the majority of matchups in your favor if you kind of know what to do and how to play against various champions. You know, like Magic Dormammu, it's power control, get him in the corner. If it's somebody like a Nightcrawler, switch to the odd combo, and then you can have this you know, like 5-hit stun. The stun is significantly increased. So yeah, you have a lot of time to beat into like stunnable evade champions. So Dr. Voodoo's great at that rank. And like Medusa's as well, he's really, really good for fighting and dealing with those. So yeah, Dr. Voodoo is a beast for War. And then we have Ghost Rider, who is kind of like an Alliance Quest Alliance. He's alright in Alliance War, but the main reason that people use him in Alliance War at the moment is for the Blade and Stark and Aunt Spider-Man synergy. He's great for kind of bleed nodes, and he can deal with Medusa's like fairly effectively if you have some points in Mystic Dispersion. So yeah, Ghost Rider is pretty great for that stuff, and also a very, very reliable option if you're doing a lot of Alliance Quest Map 6 as well. Then we have Magic, who is an awesome war option for fighting kind of Magic's, Dormammu's, anybody that needs power control. Potentially as well Medusa's if you have a lot of points in Mystic Dispersion. She can somewhat counter Medusa, but I wouldn't say it's kind of a full super ultra effective counter there. But Magic, you know, she's got quite a bit going on for her and some good matchups. And in regards to Labyrinth of Legends, I know some people that have done Labyrinth of Legends, their initial run with Magic, like Joel Line did, but I haven't put her down as a Labyrinth option, because you can use Champion, you can use Magic in Labyrinth, but pretty much any champion works in Labyrinth if you want it to work. If you've got the patience, if you've got the units, if you've got the time, but for the majority of people, I wouldn't recommend going for a first run in Labyrinth of Legends with Magic, so haven't put the L there to recommend that. And then we have Gwen Paul, who's a great option for Labyrinth of Legends, potentially useful as well for Alliance War in certain matchups against Magic, and maybe Modoks in certain scenarios, but it's a little bit of a tough one there. You just have a lot of burst damage on Gwen Paul. She's great for stuff like Legends runs as well, and just can be a very, very valuable high damage output champion to have, but has a lot of very, very good matchups, especially when it comes to looking at 100% Labyrinth of Legends. And next up, we have the Golden Boy himself, the god of MCOC. We have Blade. Very much like Archangel in regards to his Labyrinth use. He's a very hit-and-miss champion. Again, is going to have some great matchups against stuff like Magic, Electro, some of the villains like Guillotine. I've seen people use Blade with the what is that? I think it's Mephisto and Dormammu synergy for dealing with stuff like Labyrinth of Legends Guillotine. You got the regeneration there. Amazing for War. He's just an undoubtable rank 4 5-star option, even unawakened. And then we have Medusa and Hyperion, who are two very, very good Labyrinth of Legends damage dealing options. Both have fantastic damage output and are very good for taking up if you want to strive for 100% Labyrinth of Legends with either one of the characters. So yeah, they're awesome. They have a variety of very, very good matchups in Labyrinth, and a lot of their damage output is just really kind of solid raw damage that they're pumping out, so they don't really have too many significantly disadvantaged matchups. And Cosmic as well also has a really, really great matchup against Labyrinth of Legends Maestro, so that's awesome there. We've got Stark and Aunt Spider-Man, who's really good for Labyrinth of Legends, also good for Alliance War, for fighting Dormammu's, having that auto-evade, especially with the Blade synergy. He's just the champion you load up, and with free poise charges, he has so much additional damage output, so many uses for Stark Spider-Man. He's a really, really cool character. And then we have Star-Lord, who is arguably the best option for a lot of people if you have him awakened to go for 100% Labyrinth of Legends if you're a skilled player, because the damage just keeps on ramping up and up and up, and when you're fighting these 3 million bosses, if you can keep that combo, he's super, super valuable. But yeah, I don't really see too many people using Star-Lord nowadays in high tier. Alliance War, just because he tends to get wrecked by like Dormammu's, Magic's, Mephisto's, Modok's, some of the better options there, because while he has all the damage, he really doesn't have any utility to bring to the table there. So yeah, not really seeing too much Star-Lord in Alliance War nowadays. It's mainly all Blade for attack anyway. And then we have the awesome options. So we got Wolverine X-23, very good for kind of a first clear of Labyrinth of Legends. Quite a smooth sailing champion there. Got Dormammu if you want to use him on Alliance War defense, or use him on kind of war attack, or maybe bring him to Alliance Quest Map 5 as a double immunities character. It's got a lot it brings to the table in terms of double immunities, power control. The damage is always a bit naff on Dormammu, but even in rank 4, it's a little bit better, eh? And then we have Morningstar, who I've seen some people actually do 100% Labyrinth of Legends with a 5-star rank 4 and also a 5-star rank 5 Morningstar that have essentially just like, you have to die a few times on Red Hulk, so you know, you'll go in, you'll collect a soul, you'll die, and then you do that until you get to 4-5 souls, which is when Morningstar starts to become insane. And then you have some like really interesting matchups like Old Man Logan in Labyrinth of Legends. You can tear through a Morningstar because, you know, the special 2, it's going to enhance the damage so much. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff there with Morningstar, not necessarily a bad option for stuff like Alliance Quest. I haven't seen anybody play Morningstar in Alliance War, but she's alright for defense. If you want kind of a random ambush mystic champion, like, she can deal a little bit of damage there, get some health off some people. Then we have Mephisto, who we're seeing quite a bit of a surge in popularity in terms of Mephisto for Alliance War attack, because apparently if you start a fight with Mephisto, what happens is he, you know, does this debuff where it prevents the opponent from gaining any buffs from 15 seconds, but against Medusa, this completely disables all of her fury effects for the rest of the match. So yeah, I've been hearing so much about Mephisto being a really great Alliance War option for offense, and yeah, he's a very annoying champion for defense as well, so quite a useful character there. We got Hawkeye, similar to kind of nowhere near as good as Magic, but if you can keep somebody in the corner with Hawkeye, that power drain is incredibly valuable for some of the Dormammu and Magic matchups. So yeah, very decent there. For Ragnarok, you got some awesome prestige, some really good damage when he's awakened, and also has a high signature level, and also the synergy with Hulk. Potentially, I think at rank 4, there's a certain synergy you can use with like Superior Iron Man and a few other characters to get him enough attack to extend the Labyrinth of Legends Enrage timer, but to this day I still have not seen anybody do Labyrinth of Legends with 4 Ragnarok. But in theory, like, he'd be a pretty decent champion if you can extend the Enrage timer, which I've been told is possible, but apart from that, he's one of the highest prestiges in the game, and he could be interesting for Alliance War. Like, he's not necessarily the best option out there, but as soon as you get to a special 3, like, you are dealing some pretty beefed up damage there. And next up we have Taskmaster, who when awakened at high signature level, very strong ability accuracy reduction, very good for dealing with a multitude of enemies in Alliance War, like evade champions, magics, and Dormammu's. Then we have Killmonger, who is just amazing for dealing with evade champions, can fully tank special 3s via the immunity that he gains with his special 2, and has some pretty decent damage going for him. So I'm not really too sure about their Killmonger potential in something like Labyrinth of Legends, but for Alliance War, seems like he could be a useful counter to some of the annoying evade champions. Again, all of these options in the Awesome One, they're not as reliable and as good as some of the top dons, but they're still going to get some jobs done here and there. Then we also have 2 pretty good Labyrinth of Legends options. We have Angela and Hela, who are great for first-time clears of Labyrinth of Legends. Neither of them need to be awakened. I love both of these champions, man. They're very awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much all they bring to the table. Just a big chunk of damage there. Then we got Dr. Octopus, who has heal block, power control. Great for a lot of the stuff that, a lot of the scenarios where kind of power becomes a problem and you need to keep the opponent in the corner if you are intercepting very well. I've seen Dr. Octopus been played to a phenomenal level there. So yeah, Dr. Octopus, he seems pretty interesting for Alliance War for some people. Then we've also got Quake. Quake has some downsides in Alliance War, like if it's unstunnable, if it's True Strike, she's not really going to have a great time. Well, she's going to get completely wrecked. But the scenarios where it's an evade champion and you can stun them completely, you are going to have a very, very nice time against a lot of Nightcrawlers and classic Spider-Man, especially on like enhanced Special 1 nodes. If you're not very good at evading Spider-Man Special 1, Quake can be very useful, and I've seen people play Quake extremely well. Certainly against some Mephisto mini-bosses. So yeah, Quake has some potential, but you need to be very, very good and skilled at playing the character. Then we have Void, who is very good for Alliance War, naturally Incinerate immune, can reverse power gain and regeneration once he's a little bit into the fight, and that's the reason why, in my opinion, Void isn't quite God tier, because it takes a little bit of building up, a good like 30 to 40 seconds before he gets to this really effective level where he's reversing the regeneration and power gain. And you know, most of the top dons in kind of important matchups like that, the opponent is almost dead by that point. That's pretty much it. But Void, he's fully Incinerate immune, great Mephisto counter. For some of those big bosses, he can be really valuable for taking down at 5-star rank 4, but he does need to be awakened and have a high signature level for that. Then we have Gladiator Hulk, who's great for fighting Dormammu's, Mephisto's magics. Just a really overall very fun character to play. Like, he's really, really awesome. Poison immune for those certain lanes as well. Has a heal block. He is just a very simple to play and fun champion that's going to get you quite far and produce some very effective results in Alliance War. So yeah, I'm quite a big fan of Gladiator Hulk, man. I really like him. And then we have some pretty good options. So we got Storm. You got some really, really decent damage for a first run in Labyrinth of Legends. I know quite a few people since the release, like very, very early on, Storm was such a popular alternative to Star-Lord for people that didn't have access to a 5-star Awakened Star-Lord. So yeah, she'll get you through the first run of Labyrinth if you're looking for that. And then we got Psylocke, who with her power control, you know, she can be an alright option for certain scenarios in war that need power control. Rogue, a lot of people really, really love Rogue for kind of the regeneration abilities on her Special 1. Combined with the Suicide Masteries, the power control, the reduced debuff duration. Like, she's got quite a bit going on there. And same with Hood. Like, Hood's got some really good utility. He's got a stagger, he's got a Fate Seal on his Special 2, which can be very, very handy. And also, while he's invisible, can passively have a very, very good chance. It's like 90% chance while invisible, which is triggered off his Special 2 or by holding block to evade projectiles. So it can be good for and interesting for some of those matchups. Then we got Crossbones and Elektra. I don't really think any of these two champions are shining too much in the current state of Alliance War, and I don't think either one is super great for Labyrinth of Legends. I'd say out of the two, Elektra is probably a little bit better if you wanted to go for something like Labyrinth of Legends, but hey, the ability accuracy reduction on both of these champions can be very, very effective in the right scenarios. Then we've also got Ultron, quite a popular option for people that want to invest in a character with double immunities for Alliance quests that maybe don't have access to an Iceman, and especially against Bishop, Ultron seems like a really, really awesome champion. So if Bishop becomes very popular on Alliance War Defense, I don't know, we might be seeing some more Ultrons here and there. Then we've also got Drax, great hard-hitting option for Labyrinth of Legends, very similar with Hulk. You can also use Hulk a lot in Alliance quest-related stuff. Again, that isn't a super priority, but it's, you know, it's something you can do with a character there. And if you're taking like 4 Ragnarok up, hey, you might want both of them. You might want to go into Alliance War with both of them and try some crazy combos out there. You've also got Red Hulk, quite good for war, for fighting Mephistos, and also got a little bit of regeneration, just a ton of damage, really. And also Labyrinth of Legends, like, I think while he's not necessarily the best option out there, like, he'll get the job done if you're looking for a Labyrinth option there. And finally, we have Luke Cage, who seems awesome after the update. Bleed immune champion, pretty good for map 6. Got the immunities and abilities to tank Special 3, so that's pretty awesome there. A very high chance to stun on his Special 1 as well. So you can find quite a bit of value in that. So yeah, that's it for the pretty good options. And then finally the T2 Alpha expiring. We've got Cable, bit of regeneration, bit of ability accuracy reduction, True Strike on the Special 3. He's not too bad. But again, there are just better options in the game than Cable. Nightcrawler, some people want him for defense, but on offense, if you had him at rank 4 Awakened, like, he's going to have some alright damage there. Might be able to get through Labyrinth if you're looking to do that. But I'd like to see somebody push for an initial Labyrinth clear when Nightcrawler. Be interesting to watch. Then we have Beast as well. He's, you know, not the best, not the worst, but maybe worth taking up to rank 4 if you got some T2 Alpha expiring. Also Guillotine. You know, some people like her for the heel reversal, and she's just quite a fun champion to play. We also have Juggernaut, who can be good for Alliance War defense. Captain Marvel, potentially good poison immune champion, and potentially Labyrinth of Legends first clear option there. We also have Yondu, very strong heal block champion, some alright damage on Yondu, and also the ability to reduce the enemy's power gain based on the amount of debuffs they have. We also have Green Goblin. You got a little bit of power control there. You got some alright damage. Like, he's okay. He's quite a fun character to play though in terms of his animations. It's pretty damn cool. Then we got Modok, quite a valuable Alliance War defender at the moment. I think like more and more Modok options are going to be released over the next few months, but Modok is causing people without Blade quite a bit of trouble at the moment, but if you have Blade, he's pretty easy to get down now. So yeah, he can be alright, and he hits very, very hard, man. There's some solid damage output on Modok there. The only con of playing that character is, well, there are a few cons, but the big one is he takes so much block damage, man. He has very, very low block proficiency, so you get hammered on the block. Then we have Yellow Jacket. Potentially, I've seen people do an initial Labyrinth clear with Yellow Jacket, but again, in comparison to you know, this pool of significantly harder hitting champions, not really the super best option out there. And kind of same with the classic version of Spider-Man. You know, you could maybe use him for a first Labyrinth clear if you wanted, if you had the time and patience, but simultaneously when awakened, he is very, very annoying to fight on Alliance War defense. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for my suggested 5-star champions to rank 4. If you have any additional kind of opinions or comments or perspectives on any of the characters that we've talked about in this video, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy today's video, feel free to smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.